Sugathi Yoga. This is a yoga for 21st century. This has been designed on the methods of the philosophy and practices demonstrated by and followed by the mother of all, Brahmandam Anasuya Devi, who is known as Vishwajanani, and who lived during 1923 to 1985 at a place called Jillelamudi in Andhra Pradesh in Guntur district. This yoga is very much suitable for the ascension of the energy and amalgamation of the thoughts and going into the transcendental levels. This is an initiation of the travel into the imperceptible. It is having a fundamental principle that all the perceptible emerges from the imperceptible. Hence, the perceptible has to be integrated with the imperceptible. That is why, in this particular procedure, the method of presenting it the imperceptible is found. In this particular yoga system, we have taken 5 power centers. One is called as navel. Navel represents the terrestrial power center. Another is the chest. It represents the aerial power center. The third one is eyebrow center. It represents the energy transmission from the cosmic area. And the fourth is cerebral arch, which is vacuum, the absolute. And the fifth one is above the cerebral arch, which is representing the encircling force. This entire practice is identified in 5 stages. The first stage is called amalgamation of mass. Why this particular thing has been followed? Because the entire body is made up of mass, energy, and space. There must be an equilibrium in these 3. That equilibrium is always maintaining the permanence of the body. Any yoga system must be sticking on to the maintenance and ascension of the energy, keeping up the equilibrium of the mass, energy, and space. And that is why the first step is taken to be amalgamation of mass. In this particular amalgamation of mass, one has to sit in Sukhasana, keep his spinal cord erect and neck erect. And first step is keeping the hands clasping while in the sitting position. He must not make any breathing in this particular practice. So, first he has to keep the hands clasping in sitting. Then he has to extend in the second step, tying the arms around the chest. Thirdly, he has to bring to the Namaskara Mudra. And in this particular Namaskara Mudra, he has to keep both the hands together against the crown center or eyebrow center. So against the eyebrow center, it must be as if he is performing a Namaskara. And then in the fourth stage, he has to lift both the hands up and keep the palms erect, and then they will be serving as the antenna for receiving the power from the above. So he has to start from the first point to the second point, navel to the chest, chest to the eyebrow center to the cerebral arch. This particular system is to be followed at each step for 5 minutes. It will be totally 20 minutes. Again, he has to come down from the stage 4, stage 3, stage 2, stage 1. That is from above the cerebral arch, and then the eyebrow center, and then the chest, and then the navel. This is the cycle. This cycle is to be strictly followed. First step, what is called as amalgamation of mass. Secondly, amalgamation of the energy, ascension of the energy. This ascension of the energy is having from the navel to the cerebrum. In this also, the same methods of first section should be followed, but he must hold breathing. First he must clasp hands at the navel and hold the breathing. And then he must tie at the chest level and then hold breathing. And then he must keep in Namaskara Mudra and hold breathing. And then he must take to the cerebral arch and then stop breathing. So in this way, in the 4 steps, he has to stop the breathing. Again, from 4, 3, 2, 1, he has to come down. This is a cycle of energy ascension, wherein the energy will be functioning in the human body in the form of the air. And that is why he has to take the concept of air into consideration. And he has to control the air properly. And that controlling the air is not involving any pranayama or other types of breathing or kumbhaka techniques suggested in Hatha Yoga. Here simply holding at a particular point. The first point is navel, the second point is chest, the third point is eyebrow center, the fourth point is cerebral arch and beyond it. So as a result, beyond the cerebral arch, one can clearly identify the holding of the energy. Third one is receiving radiation. This is called as Shunya Grahana. One has to sit erect as in the first posture and then open his eyes and look at straightly, and he has to receive the light or whatever it may be without interruption for as much time as possible, minimum 5 minutes. So first he has to receive, look at the vacuum directly, and it will be making him, in order to take into power the entire radiation technique. This is receiving the radiation. This is called as Shunya Grahana. With these 3 steps, the fundamentals of the mass, energy and space are received. And then he has to cross into the 4th step. That is what is called as merger with the imperceptible. The 4th step is called as the merger with the imperceptible. There, he has not to concentrate on the navel point. He has to concentrate only on the chest, eyebrow center and cerebrum. And just lifting up and holding up the energy from the chest to the eyebrow center to the cerebrum, and then he has to concentrate at the cerebrum level internally. This is called as merger with the imperceptible. Then the 5th stage and the last stage is called as super meditation. This super meditation is called as adhidhyana. It is beyond the energy point. It is only to make a conjecture of joining with the imperceptible. So the imperceptible is said to be the space or the vacuum which is ever functioning, than the energy and than the mass. This particular space is very much beyond the frequency of the energy and the mass. So this particular super meditation is adhidhyana, is the higher stage. In order to control the adhidhyana, one has to fold the tongue inwards and touch the palate. And that particular point should be taken as the point for the cerebral identity. And therein he has to invert the attention and keep that particular attention inwards. So these 5 steps will be making a person, in order to go for a particular merger with the imperceptible and travel into the imperceptible. This is from the terrestrial level to the gaseous level, from the gaseous level to the energy level, from the energy level to the vacuum level. In these particular 4 stages, one has to lift up his own energy, and this is called as Sugathi Yoga. This is based on the functional philosophy which has been identified by the mother of all, Brahmandam Anasuya Devi, who is called as Jiredamudi Amma more famously and popularly in Telugu region. This is very easy. It is not involving any chanting of mantra, or it is not involving any physical exercises as in Hatha Yoga, and it is not involving any pranayama or strictly speaking what is called as any type of breathing exercise. Only simply holding the breathing at a particular point, that too in the stage of ascension of energy, is considered to be very important. And this is more significant, and one step to the other. First step is a lower one, that is amalgamation of mass, wherein the 5 elements, what is called as earth, water, fire, air and sky will be brought under the fold of the encircling mass. This is called as amalgamation of mass. Secondly, the ascension of energy is from navel to the cerebrum, wherein the energy which is functioning in the form of the air will be totally brought under the control and it will be extending up. And the third one is receiving radiation. This particular concept is to receive the light and sound together. As a result, the eyes are kept opened and one has to receive that particular thing. The fourth one is the merger with the imperceptible, wherein the gaseous stage to energy state, energy to space stage are taken into consideration, and the terrestrial is not considered in the fourth stage. The fifth one is super meditation. This is, we have to invert the attention into the cerebral cavity, and wherein the cerebral cavity will be forced and to subject it to a particular pressure, and the activation of that particular cerebral cavity will be making one to realize the absolute and the supreme force which is functioning as the imperceptible. This is the gift for the 21st century. This is totally based on the pragmatic philosophy identified by the mother of all, Achilella Moody. So, this can be taken as the basic method, and any type of interested people can contact this phone number 990-8490-308 for verification and having a personal touch on this particular subject. This is very modest attempt, and this is having the impulses which are involved in the pranayama, in the hatha yoga and simplified kundalini yoga of Vedatri Maharshi, and also in the kriya yoga. All these aspects are brought and amalgamated as a single package, and this is a very interesting one which will be useful for the people of 21st century, and that is why this is called as Sugathi yoga. Sugathi, according to the mother, is achieving a good direction for good path and for good goal. The goal is good, the path is good, and the direction is good. So everybody will be having that particular Sugathi. Sugathi means the grand success or the grand direction or the grand reach. That is more important, and it can be assured by the mother, and the unifying force and the universal force and encircling force will be merged with the terrestrial, gaseous, energy and spatial levels, and it will be resulting in a particular point with a proper exercise. So those people who are interested can contact 990-8490-308 for personal training or for any other clarification.